new hot and techy Brezza, the city-bred SUV.
It's very eventful, entertaining 20 overs in Lucknow's first home game after they won the toss, chose to bat first, and it wasn't the scrapper that we've seen in the past necessarily. We did see some big scores from three batters, three left-handers who have powered them at different phases of the innings to a score of 199. Quinton de Kock with 50 at the top, Nicholas Puran captaining today at 40 in the middle, and Krunal Pandya. How important could that 40-odd be towards the end? We also saw Liam Livingston walk off, and we look back at a game that even saw Lucknow get their overseas impact sub in Ashton Turner ready, but not used. So lots has happened. On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket Info Timeout. Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan, Varun Aaron, lowballed it. All three of you, didn't you? All of you went 150 to 180. Am I not right?
I think we all thought it was going to be that scrapper that you talked about, but the wicket was actually dapper.
Yeah.
He spent 120 balls working on that.
Normally, out of respect, I've noticed when I do my opening and finish my first question, you sort of look at Tom. You know, Tom's season pro, he'll start. Maybe Varun, the Indian guest, he was ready. He was ready with that. In all seriousness, 199, significant advantage. Lucknow Super Giants, Varun.
The wicket's really good. I wouldn't say significant advantage. It's a good score. I would say par to maybe slightly above par, maybe 10-15 runs. But the wicket's good. I mean, like we said that when Lucknow opted to bat first, there was a sign that the wicket's good.
Would you say that as well?
Yeah, it looks a good surface. Not a lot of turn there. And it's going to be interesting to see if there's any dew later on, which will only make it better. With the ball skidding on, and it's a lot easier to find your timing in that situation. So I think we've got a game on.
Yeah, I actually think it is a significant advantage getting that score on the board. Liam Livingston went off early with what looks like a hamstring injury, so we'll see how that gets used. So it looks like they're going to be going in with a batter light, or at least a batter who's injured.
It was fluent and free scoring. Top five all striking in excess of 140. I mean, de Kock's the lowest of that, 142. You take 54 of 38. I don't know where to start with how to analyze Punjab's effort. Where would they feel like they could have done better to restrict this? At one stage, I think they would have been pretty happy with having Puran's wicket relatively early. So, what would they be feeling right now?
Look, every team has a few go-to bowlers. For Punjab, obviously, in the spin department, on paper, it's Rahul Chahar. In the fast bowling department, it's Ashdeep Singh, and if you see from the last few games, they haven't been delivering. So, as like the management, as the captain, you kind of go like, what's going to happen now? Because my main two my spin bowler and my fast bowler are not delivering. I had a quick look up at something interesting with Ashdeep. I just realized he was running in a bit slower. Something felt a bit off. His average speed from last year to these first three games has actually dropped down by 5 kilometers per hour. His average speed, so that's a decent drop for a fast bowler. So that's why we see that his numbers are going up. Maybe that could be a reason, because I don't see he's doing anything different. But I just feel that he's missing that slight nip in his bowling.
What could be the reason for a dip in speed? I can't remember a lot of injuries that Ashdeep has had.
I mean, all fast bowlers have a niggle. More often than not, all right. So obviously, it might not be a very serious injury, but he might be carrying a niggle. Something might be off. We would never know. Okay. But his speeds have definitely fallen.
Interesting that you talk about his run-up speed, though. And I think when you start playing a lot of cricket, obviously those first couple of years he came from nowhere, not a lot of cricket under his belt, so you're fresh. Every training you're charging and you're trying to prove yourself. But as time goes on, at training you can just drop that intensity. And so that could be it. If you're noticing in his run-up speed, then maybe he's not training at full intensity, which could be part of that.
Yeah. He's also had a lot more cricket in between the last 2 years. He was only playing T20 cricket at the time. He's now captain ODIs. He also enjoyed a stint in the UK. So he's played some county cricket and come back. So there's been more work on that body. It's still a young body, though.
Yeah, I don't put it down to work personally. I think there's obviously some mechanics there that are just slightly off, and two fast bowlers here know exactly what that's like when you've got some slight mistiming in whether it's your action, your follow through, your run up, your front arm. It can be many different things that make the difference between bowling at your maximum speed effortlessly or struggling to get to that speed or the average speed.
I'm still trying to think whether Shikhar Dhawan could have still finished his quota of overs. He didn't bowl his fourth. Harshal Patel's had another tough day at the death.
Yeah, I mean, I think Harshal has to avoid that one big over which we were talking about at the start of the show. That's happening too often. He would love to. I know Harshal is a big analyzer. I'm sure he's sitting down and he's going to analyze why that's happening. But I personally think Harshal should really back his Yorker. He actually bowls a pretty decent Yorker, but he's resorting to his slow ball way too much. And I feel every batsman is waiting for that slow ball, but when he actually slides a few Yorkers in, that's when he gets his dots.
The question around whether Arshdeep should have bowled his last over, absolutely he should have. He's an international bowler. He's executed at the death at the international level, and he's one of the great finishers in IPL cricket of the last few years. So tactically, I do believe Shikhar got that wrong.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The thing that worries me with Harshal, and we've talked about this in the first game that Punjab played, is that it just appears that he's just lost that slower ball. He is bowling a slower ball, but it's a mainstream slower ball. You know, everyone can bowl an off-cutter, off-pace delivery, but he had a real X-factor slower ball.
We have some fun. Now, I've never used this so far, but
I actually agree
why
with
don't
Tom
you
because
break that down?
I was looking at that today as well because there's absolutely no dip on a slow ball anymore.
Mainstream slow ball versus the Harshal Patel slow ball, and what you've noticed is different.
Well, you're giving it to me. You got.
You started with those big
Yeah,
fingers.
the head coach.
yeah. Well, but everyone's got different slower balls.
Fingers are big.
It's a small ball. Yeah, it is a small ball. Yeah, a lot of people there's many different slower balls. But if we're going with the off-cutter slower ball, that's your wrist is turning to the right side. So he's obviously bowling it like that, which is just a standard slower ball. The Bravo slower ball and his slower ball of 2 years ago was coming out like that. So it had
Overspin on it.
Yeah, had dip on it.
Right.
So he's just bowling it like a standard off spinner.
Yeah.
Where your Bravo and the Harshal, 2 years ago, it was right over the top. So that part of the wrist is facing the batter.
Comes out
Not there.
Comes out over.
You could
that
carry
part.
on if you want to pass the ball.
Yeah, so they wanted a Bravo and Bumrah. The ball actually comes out over there. The thumb comes off, and the ball comes out over that index. So it always
See the
goes
back of
up
the hand.
first, back of the hand, up first instead of out the side first.
And this was something very few bowlers had the skill to do. Only Bravo and Harshal. It also comes down to the kind of sort of wrists they have and elbows they have.
Malinga bowled it,
Right.
Which was really interesting because Malinga delivering from out the side here makes it even harder to do, that particular delivery.
Yeah.
But Malinga managed to get his wrist into that position and bowl an absolute ripping slow ball.
Why would a bowler like Harshal have lost that slow ball? Is it confidence?
I personally think he was putting in a lot of effort into that slow ball. To get that overspin on your slow ball, you really have to bowl your slow ball like you're bowling a max effort ball. I just feel he's not putting in the same effort. I mean, I'm sure. See, no bowler wants to do it on purpose. There's obviously something which is happening which he might not be aware of, which he might be aware of. But like Tom said it very correctly, there is no overspin on his slow ball and there is no dip. So it's just like pretty flat.
See, the other thing to add to that is that one thing that bowlers, when they lose confidence, when they're bowling their slow ball, they slow their arm action down.
Yes.
And when you're bowling a slow ball well, if anything, you're increasing your arm speed.
Exactly, yeah.
So you are bowling it with a fast arm action and trusting that it's going to come out and land on the spot and not, bowl it and go straight at the batter's head.
But that doesn't come from the bowling arm. That comes from your front side. So when you see good back of the hand slow ball bowlers and those type of slow balls, that front arm is very fast to accelerate rather than trying to throw the ball. You're trying to accelerate with the front arm. The faster that comes down, the easier you can get that arm over. Good point in terms of that slow ball. You'd like to see it back in the game. This is why I'm a really strong believer of bowlers having every slower ball. And because at different points in your career, one won't work, like we're seeing with Harshal now, and you need to be able to go to a delivery that has the same effect. So like a knuckleball or a split finger. He needs to develop those for when that one's not working.
There's your split finger.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have a
There's
split,
your knuckle.
as wide as Tom's.
I know. Yeah. Okay, but it's very interesting.
It's really important because even throughout my career, I found that one slow ball wasn't working, but I had to have one that deceived in the air, or one of my cutters wasn't working, so I had to have a different type of cutter.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. Big season for Harel Patel, and they've broken it down with great insight. Let's look at other key moments in that innings. One of those being the Nicholas Puran innings. My God, when he was just hitting sixes, you thought some of them, it didn't even look like he middles them and they still go all the way back. We've seen this before. I'll quickly come to the two of you because you had a slight point of difference when he got out.
Yeah. My point of view, first and foremost, was there was 5 overs left.
Yes.
Rabada had bowled 3 overs. He's a banker for them towards the back end of the innings. Rabada was only brought back to get Nicholas Puran out.
Yeah.
So Sam Curran, who would have Nicholas Puran would have lined up really nicely against. Still had 2 overs to bowl. If they wanted to bowl Bra, then that's another good matchup. I just felt like it was Puran probably tried hit that too hard, and maybe in hindsight he'd go, well, let me just take that for 1. Let's get 5 or 6 off this over. If I time one well, then we maybe get 8 or 9. But I'm going to take down the other bowlers with the 4 overs left.
I feel it was a really, really loose ball. I mean, Mitch, if you're set and you see such a, like Rabada, he generally would not bowl you like a nice, juicy, outside the off stump ball like that. Anybody's eyes are going to light up. He might have just stuck on the wicket. He might have been a little too surprised that Rabada is giving me this juicy option. But if you're set at 40, you're going to hit that ball.
That was your point.
That was my point.
Oh, that was your point, sorry.
Yeah, that was my point. I didn't think it was a bad shot.
Yeah.
If he was slogging across the line and trying to hit him for 6,
Correct.
I get exactly what Mitch is saying.
Yeah.
But to me, it was a wide, loose ball that needed to be punished hard into the offside. Whether he beats deep cover or not, he's going to get minimum 1, maybe 2 or 4. He's not playing a reckless shot. 100%. It was there to hit.
He was playing the ball.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to be, I guess I'm trying to be hypercritical because we know how good he is. And it looked like he just lost his shape a little bit.
I think your point is most established with the amount of wickets they've lost and who was to come. If at all you want to ask Puran to bat differently at any stage.
He's an instinctive player.
Yes.
Nicholas Puran's very much an instinctive player. And as soon as you try to tailor a player like a Nicholas Puran, you totally mess with their head. So you need to let them play on instinct.
And that's not what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's a bit like Maxwell. It's the same thing. Like Maxwell gets criticised for playing reckless shots. Like, why has he played that reverse sweep? But in the same breath, the game before, 30,000 people are on their feet in awe of him reverse sweeping for 6 every third ball.
Yeah, and that's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're trying to get him to play a different way. I'm just saying in that moment, he just needs to get through that because he's going to be so much more.
I'll throw you a rope to get out of the hole if you like.
What Nicholas Puran would be thinking there is, I'm going to play this, and if I get out, the guy after me can do the job. And Krunal Pandya, that kind of innings would please captain, coach immensely. He's not had a lot of batting.
It's a great innings.
Yeah.
What did he end up with? 43 off 22.
Yes.
Right from the get-go, he looked very much in the game. A couple of twos, a boundary. Rabada bowled a poor delivery to him right at the back end of his 4th over. That slow ball bouncer to a new batter. Why would you be bowling that type of delivery is beyond me. You'd be smacking that length on top of off
Crazy
stump.
you say that because just the previous ball to that ball, he bowled a ball to him. He was late on the ball, hit his pads, went to point for no run.
Yeah.
Very next ball, slow bouncer. That was not needed.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you ask him what ball would you most like to receive, it'd be probably that
100%.
off Rabada.
Correct.
As a new batter.
Yep. Well, the Pandya family can do with some good news. So that was nice to see from Krunal. And has he set his team with the advantage? Certainly to some degree there is an advantage. Now they've already started the second innings. And Manimaran Siddharth, with his left arm spin, has taken the first over to the Punjab captain Shikhar Dhawan, which very quickly brings me back to one important period of play that we didn't witness, or one matchup we didn't witness. Because de Kock and Puran batted as long as they did, Harpreet Brar has bowled just the 2 overs. Just quickly touch on that. Against left-handers, he's actually got a decent record.
Yeah, and he only went for 14 in his 2 overs that he bowled, and it surprised me because we've seen a bit of a trend of this. I get the matchup. I think it's important to recognise that, but I don't think it's gospel. I think that you need to trust him back your players that are in form in certain situations. And
Yeah.
and to me, Bra's totally in control of his game at the moment. I'd be trusting him.
I mean, that's what we need, captains to trust the spinners, like we saw with Pat Cummins and Shabazz against Ishan Kishan the other day. It sets up nicely for the end of the game chat, right? Because Siddharth has been given the new ball, shown faith by Nicholas Puran, who will captain the Super Giants in the field for the first time. Rahul's been impacted out. Naveen Ulak is in. We expect Prab Simran to come in for Punjab, and we have no idea what the latest is on Liam Livingston, but he could potentially not have as much of a role or an impact. We'll wait and find out if he is called in. Quick revisiting of the outrageous predictions. It's worth doing, even though the second innings is underway. If you joined us for our pre-show, how good is this panel getting on a Saturday night, right? Mitch McClenaghan, de Kock to hit a 6 in Rabada's first over. That's a good template to follow for outrageous predictions also now. Pick a good batter and a bowler and say he's going to get a 6. I'm not saying it was safe. It's very clever. And KL Rahul to get out within 10 balls. Tom Moody, the Oracle. Well done.
It was 8 balls, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 8 balls, and I had to do a bit of
9
digging.
balls.
A bit of digging to see if that was actually outrageous. And it was. His average is facing 28 balls.
So had you not done that digging, that would not have been...
Yeah, well, I'm going to give him a pass on this one.
He would have chirped me
Yeah, I definitely would have.
without justification.
What? I think he's a slightly, not bitter, but he's a slightly unhappy man because his
Well, I've got some points to catch up.
his 3 impact players are done.
They've all been subbed out.
And you know what? Maybe that's why I'm so disappointed with Nicholas Puran, because he should have.
That's where it's coming from.
Pandya is 43.
Now I've
No,
got
he
it.
could have got 80.
So
He
Nicholas
could have got
Puran
100.
shouldn't play and lose shot because Mitch is
McClenaghan is my impact player. Okay, I need
Hang on,
those points.
hang
I
on.
need to catch up.
I'll message him now just to say, look, next time.
Okay, I'm picking you. I'm backing you in.
42 of 21, could still see Nicholas Puran win
If
you.
you get the win, I get the win.
All right, leave it there. Quick predictions. Tom, Lucknow?
I think Lucknow, yes, particularly given Livingston's a bit of a cloud.
Okay. Mitch?
Lucknow by 30.
Lucknow by 30 seems comfortable enough, though that's still a lot of runs. Varun?
Lucknow.
Lucknow?
Yeah.
Big win?
Just 15 runs.
Ooh, you're going for close games. Not going for a big convincing Lucknow win. Come on, bring it home.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a close finish. So I'm going to say, because I think Jitesh is going to shine on this surface tonight. I think it's going to be 1 in the last over with 2 balls remaining.
Good stuff. Okay. Thank you very much. Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan, Varun Aaron. Brilliant from these fine gentlemen. We come back to see how things stand and whether Lucknow resume what we saw at the start of this tournament as home teams winning. That streak was broken last night by KKR. Can Punjab add to it? We find out. Join us for post-match comments, where we invite your questions and comments to the panel as well on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Download the mobile app if you haven't already. It will have you covered with the very latest, and I'm sure there'll be some kind of update sort from the game itself on Liam Livingston, and you'll get it first there on the ESPN Cricket for mobile app. We'll see you at the end of the game.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the City Bred SUV.